Hi, everybody. Hello, 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 all over the place. It's great to see everybody. Nice
Hi,
to have you
everyone.
all. Yay. Hi, Kathy in Virginia. Hi, Jane in England. Hello, Tom in, I think, Virginia. Hello, Deborah in Kentucky, and Nancy. Hello. And Dion, hello. I think Dion is Connecticut. I can't remember. Carolyn, hello. Nice to see you. Coming in from Idaho. Dan in Virginia. Steve in Baltimore, Beryl Collins' mom in Chicago, hello. Kathleen in Albuquerque, Carol, great to see you today. Adele, great to see you. Isabel in Florida, Mary Eagle coming in from, I think it was North Carolina, I can't actually see. Lisa, hello, nice to have you today. And Pete, great to have you coming in from Florida. Annette, hello, great to have you. Karen in Arizona, hi. Bonnie in Idaho, Michelle in Trinidad and Tobago, Sarah coming in from the DC region, Kathleen, Terry, Sandra, and some other folks whose video is not connecting yet. Lynn, nice to see all of you. Really glad that you've joined us today. And hello also to everybody out on Facebook Live. We are very glad that you are here too. If you're new to us, please pop your state or your country into the chat box so we know where you found us or where you came from to find us. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome. This is the Washington Rebels Carpe Diem Arts Daily Antidote of Song. And most of you know we're here every day at noon doing this thing where we get together and we sing. And it's truly a lovely thing to be singing. We've been having a lot of fun and doing a lot of groupthink over the many months of the crisis of the virus and the crisis of racial injustice in our nation. So we're excited that starting on Sunday, we are going to begin a 2-week program singing for racial justice. And please find us on Facebook or out in the universe somewhere and join us for the 2 weeks. It's actually 2 weeks plus 1 day. And we hope you'll be able to be with us for lots of singing and thinking those during that time. So there is a donate link in the chat box. If you're able to donate to help the performing artists, the money that comes in is going directly to the song leaders. My email is in the chat box. If you have questions or comments or thoughts, I'd love to hear from you. And also you can be on our daily email list. Just let me know that you want me to add your name. And I'm also sending out a big thank you to Colin K. Bills, who has been the loyal sidekick for much of this program. And today I am super excited to have with us Steve Winick, who has joined us before. Usually he has been, or maybe always he has been in this room, half of the duo of Jennifer Cutting and Steve Winick. So Steve is from the Library of Congress American Folklife Center. He's a folklorist and has an amazing body of knowledge of history, of folklore, of folk life. And he is also a member of Ocean Orchestra and also of Ocean Celtic Quartet. And he's got lots of other cool things, a blog that he does regularly. Steve, we're super excited to sing with you today and to hear more about all of the stuff you can pass on to us.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Joe, and thanks to Revels and Carpe Diem for continuing to do this fantastic program. So I'm going to sing a song today, which is called The Ryans and the Pittmans. And it's a song which it's internationally distributed with a lot of different titles. This version is called The Ryans and the Pittmans, but it's more often known as either We'll Rant and We'll Roar, or in the English version, Spanish Ladies, which is probably the earliest version of this song. So it's a very well-known sea shanty, but I'm doing the version that comes from Newfoundland. I used to go up to Newfoundland all the time and learn this song a long time ago, but then I've learned the other versions, and so it's kind of interesting to look at how they differ. But I'll just mention a few things in the song before we get into singing it, there's words that might not be sort of familiar to everyone, and there's also phrases that it might not be clear what they mean. But first of all, I'll mention it's kind of interesting that the song is called The Ryans and the Pittmans in Newfoundland. It was published with that title in the 19th century, and nobody knows why, because the main character says that his name is Bob Pittman, but there's nobody named Ryan in the song, and there's no other Pittman besides him. So it's an odd thing about this song that there's some debate about why it would be called this. I think it has to do with, there's a line in it that you'll hear when he says if he doesn't marry his girlfriend, he's afraid of her da. Da being father, their version of Dad, and her last name is never stated in the song. She's Biddy, so I think it might have to do with a kind of Romeo and Juliet kind of situation with two families. But there's no real good evidence in the song, so that's kind of funny. There's a phrase in the chorus that you'll be singing in which they say, "Until we see bottom inside the two sunkers." And that's interestingly obscure because versions of that line occur in all the versions of the song, but the word sunkers or sinkers in some versions doesn't always mean the same thing. So in English versions, they're talking about casting a leaden line to find out how deep they are, right? And the sinkers are the things that are actually going to make the line sink to the bottom. But in this case, it's the entrance to Toslow Harbor in Newfoundland, which has a lot of rocks and reefs. And because of that, it's known locally as the wall with the hole in. That's what they call it. So there's actually, that occurs in the song, the wall with the hole in. And because of that, in order to get in, you have to actually sight where the rocks are and see the passage between two of the rocks. So until we see bottom inside the sunkers in this case are sunken rocks that are underwater. And the bottom that you're seeing is the gradations in color of the water that tell you that you're over the part where you can actually see all the way to the bottom. So that's what that line means. There's also a line that you don't sing, but I'll be singing about frankgum. Does anyone know what frankgum is? So it's Frankgum, and before there was chewing gum, people used to just chew the resin that came out of trees sometimes, and frankgum was one version of that. So I thought that was neat. There's a verse where it talks about money, and you'll notice that both pounds and dollars are mentioned. He's trying to get both pounds and dollars. And that's an interesting part of Newfoundland history because Newfoundland wasn't part of Canada until 1949. And before that, they had a Newfoundland dollar, but also all British currency was legal tender in Newfoundland because it was a British crown colony. So you could pay for things with either pounds or dollars in Newfoundland at the time, and that's reflected in the song. So that I thought was something that was kind of interesting. And the last thing, one more little thing, is the word chokey. Chokey is a very common slang word for prison, which occurs throughout British and British-derived cultures. So when he says, "In chokey I'd be," it means that he would go to jail for what he's talking about. So those are all the little historical details in the song that will help you understand it as we're singing it. I guess we can get into the chorus. So the chorus is there in the chat, and it's been emailed around as well. So it's, "We'll rant and we'll roar like true Newfoundlanders." And in Newfoundland, they say, remember that Newfoundland rhymes with understand. That's how you pronounce it. You don't say Newfoundland necessarily, or a lot of people say Newfoundland, but that's not how they say it in Newfoundland. In Newfoundland, they say Newfoundland, and people from Newfoundland are Newfoundlanders. So we'll rant and we'll roar like true Newfoundlanders. We'll rant and we'll roar on deck and below until we see bottom inside the two sunkers. Then straight through the channel to Toslow we'll go. So that's the chorus, and it goes like this. "We'll rant and we'll roar like true Newfoundlanders." You can all sing back with me. "We'll rant and we'll roar like true Newfoundlanders. We'll rant and we'll roar on deck and below. We'll rant and we'll roar on deck and below until we see bottom inside the two sunkers. Until we see bottom inside the two sunkers. Then straight through the channel to Toslow we'll go. Then straight through the channel to Toslow we'll go." And the only thing is there's a pause between the two couplets there. So after on deck and below, you'll see it, that note is kind of extended. So we'll sing it like this. "We'll rant and we'll roar like true Newfoundlanders. We'll rant and we'll roar on deck and below until we see bottom inside the two sunkers. Then straight through the channel to Toslow we'll go." So let's try that. We'll rant and we'll roar like true Newfoundlanders. We'll rant and we'll roar on deck and below, until we see bottom inside the two sunkers. Then straight through the channel to Toslow we'll go. So here we go. I will sing the Ryans and the Pittmans. There's a lot of verses, so there's going to be two verses and then a chorus. So I'll sort of raise my hand and stuff when we're all going to sing. So I guess we can begin with the chorus just to get us going. So, we'll rant and we'll roar like true Newfoundlanders. We'll rant and we'll roar on deck and below, until we see bottom inside the two sunkers. Then straight through the channel to Toslow we'll go. I'm the son of a sea cook, I'm a cook in a trader. I can dance, I can sing, I can reef the main boom. I can handle a jigger and cut a fine figure whenever I gets into a boat standing room. We'll rant and we'll roar like true Newfoundlanders. We'll rant and we'll roar on deck and below, until we see bottom inside the two sunkers. Then straight through the channel to Toslow we'll go. My name it is Robert, they call me Bob Pittman. I sail in the Ino with Skipper Tom Brown. I'm bound to the city to marry my Biddy as soon as I'm able to plank the cash down. We'll rant and we'll roar like true Newfoundlanders. We'll rant and we'll roar on deck and below, until we see bottom inside the two sunkers. Then straight through the channel to Toslow we'll go. And now I'll go to the two-verse thing because I forgot about that. So, farewell and adieu to you girls of Eelvallen. Farewell and adieu to you girls of the Cove. I'm bound to the westward, to the wall with the hole in. I'll take her from Toslow the wide world to rove. Farewell and adieu to you girls of St. Kieran's, of Paradise, Presca and Little Bona. I'm bound on to Toslow to marry my Biddy, for if I don't do so I'm afraid of her da. We'll rant and we'll roar like true Newfoundlanders. We'll rant and we'll roar on deck and below, until we see bottom inside the two sunkers. Then straight through the channel to Toslow we'll go. I've bought me a fine house from Catherine Davis, a 20-pound bed from Jimmy McGraw. I'll get me a settle, a pot and a kettle, and then I'll be ready for Biddy, hurrah. If the voyage is good in the fall I will do it. I want £3.10 for the ring and the priest, and a couple of dollars for clean shirts and collars, and a handful of coppers to pay for the feast. We'll rant and we'll roar like true Newfoundlanders. We'll rant and we'll roar on deck and below, until we see bottom inside the two sunkers. Then straight through the channel to Toslow we'll go. I went to a dance one night in Fox Harbour. There was plenty of girls there, as much as you'd wish. There was one pretty maiden a-chewin' of frank gum, just like a young kitten a-chewin' fresh fish. So here's to the health to the girls of Fox Harbour, Oder and Peresca, Crab's Hole and Bruley. Now please all be jolly, don't be melancholy. I can't marry is all, or in chokey I'd be. We'll rant and we'll roar like true Newfoundlanders. We'll rant and we'll roar on deck and below, until we see bottom inside the two sunkers. Then straight through the channel to Toslow we'll go. We'll rant and we'll roar like true Newfoundlanders. We'll rant and we'll roar on deck and below, until we see bottom inside the two sunkers. Then straight through the channel to Toslow we'll go. The Ryans and the Pittmans.
Thank you, Steve, for a song that took us on a nice journey. Actually, that was a nice way. We got up to Newfoundland. We got to go around. That was pretty nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I'm always amazed at the way you have so many songs in your head. Like, it's unbelievable to me, the amount of verses that you carry in your head.
Well,
And that you,
the weird thing for this song is that since I know two other versions of this song, which I've sung with various groups, and they're only slightly different in some cases, so I have to be really careful because in the version where you're casting a leaden line, it's until we strike bottom because you're hit, you're going until the line hits the bottom. So you have to be really careful on individual words, especially when you've asked people to sing along on the chorus, because then if you're singing something different, so yeah, so it can be hairy to have all these verses in your head, but
that's really
but it's
funny.
fun
So,
too. But hair's my thing. So
yeah. So, of course, when you're doing it virtually like this, the fact that the words might shift out, it doesn't matter. Everybody can just attribute it to, Wi-Fi delays and whatever else. Like,
right,
who
right,
knows? Yeah.
right.
So, so thank you again, Stephen. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody on Facebook, and thanks so much for being with us. Please join us for
Bye,
the
Facebookers.
bye. Thank you.